Hi, I'm Chaji Prabhakaran, and I thought today to share my views on how we can reform global football. As right now we are under great stress because of COVID pandemic, and we really don't know when we will come out of this havoc which was caused by this pandemic. Because of this COVID pandemic, we can see that all the sports and every aspect of life have been greatly impacted. And no doubt our football is under great stress. We can't go to field, we can't enjoy our passion right now, but this is the time we can think how we can reform football so that whenever this kind of crisis again comes again, we don't get into this crisis situation. What crisis situation today we are facing in world football? Because everyone, every top club, every small club, every organization in football, majority of them, I would say, is thinking, and some already done it, salary cut, firing staff, non-playing staff being not paid, and there are many other negatives which is coming, which is not helping the game. Though football is the most beautiful sport, what we have to do to overcome is very important. We all have to think what way we can reform football, the whole structure of global football, whereby we don't come to this situation where the key stakeholders, the players, the coaches, the referees, the association, all have to think and get into stress. That is what we have to avoid. What I have to say is that this was coming. The world football, this was coming because there was a bubble. We were not balanced. The world of football was mostly about the money and money. And many didn't think that this will come to a stage when we will suffer. And that is what is happening today, because we tend to see that there will be a block for further money to come in, because the world is going to get into a massive downturn. Economic situation will not be the same. We will be taken back to many decades, because right now everything is standstill and the world is seeing something which we in our lifetime have not experienced. So what we have to think is how we can overcome this, how we can present our football so that whatever the crisis comes, we are prepared and our key stakeholders doesn't suffer. It is not only about big clubs because we read a lot about big clubs that the players have got a salary cut of even 70%, many layoffs. But because of this big clubs' economic situation, the small clubs will also suffer big time. And that is where there were never a balance in football because it was all about big clubs. And we have ignored the majority of the clubs in our pyramid. These are those small clubs, they do wonders with their commitment, with their engagement, community participation. They bring more players into the game. They scout more talents into the for the game. That's why it's important to see that how we can make a system, put up a structure which can help our football to be sustainable. Whatever the crisis comes, we are always prepared and we don't have to become a negative in the minds of others. It's not easy for football to have a bailout package or to get a stimulus package from every government because for government across the world there are many priorities. There are countries where our millions are poor. There are countries where there will be massive layoffs. Unemployment figure will rise. So therefore, it's not going to be easy for the governments to bail out football. What we have to think is it is football structure, football organizations can only help to do something whereby we will be able to sustain things in a way whereby we will reach to something more sustainable. Yeah, some people say that okay, can IMF can give investment to football clubs or football organizations? Can World Bank provide that kind of loan grants to football organization or our clubs or football organizations are ready to take big loans from local banks or national banks in their own country? I don't think we are in that situation. And it is not that every football organization has got massive reserves. It's only FIFA which has got around 2.75 billion US dollar as reserves. UEFA has got some 600 million. And likewise, there may be other confederations like Asian Football Confederations will have certain reserve. But those reserves won't be enough to put money into every football organization or club to meet this current situation. So, therefore, as I'm repeating once more, What we have to do is we have to build a system, build a structure where there is complete balance in our football ecosystem. Inclusiveness is the key. We can't move forward with only elite group of football organization, and that is where global leaders in football have to sit together and come out with a strategy which can help football, because football can do a lot, and right now also it is doing a lot for people, to community, to its fans at every level. Players are doing at their own individual basis, football associations, whether it is Global Football Organization, FIFA, Confederation, Asian Football Confederation, or UEFA. Every football organization is trying to help people through its own ways, and that's brilliant. And that's what football has always been doing. Whenever the crisis has hit the world, football has taken a very proactive step. But right now, we also have to think how we can take those right steps so that football itself can stand tall, can always lead from the front, and can never hit by this kind of devastating events in the world. So what my views are very simple. We need to go for a massive governance reform, how the clubs are structured, because right now what is happening is big rich owners are taking control of the clubs, and they are creating the biggest disbalance, which was never a sustainable model. And we can realize now, though they might have the money still to put into the club, but they won't end up putting the money right now because their other activities, because football might not be their primary business activity. They have their own business activities which also are under great stress right now. So therefore the priority for all of them right now will be to sustain their own priority businesses than football. So they will continue to hold on to their money, and rightly so, anyone in their position will do that. But can we still continue to go the same way, or the football authorities should think to change the ownership pattern in a way whereby it is not that one rich person who decides everything how football should be run, or the league should have the right structure, right model whereby there is absolute balance. How, because the major funding comes from the broadcasting, and right now the broadcasters are not in any position to fulfill their obligation, because as per contractual terms they can hold back the payments, which might be in the range of maybe more than 10 billion all over the world globally, combine all the big leagues, which is huge money which would be not be coming at the hands of football clubs, leagues, because broadcasters won't be able to get their revenue. from this situation. And going forward, what we will witness because of this virus, if we are not finding a vaccine till then, the social distancing norms, the threat of this virus will be such we won't see many people on the stands even if the games are resumed. Therefore, the match day revenue of the clubs will be hit big time. There won't be any money at the hands of major majority of fans as well because their economic situation will also be hit by this virus. Therefore, on the whole economic model of the our league and the clubs were always unsustainable. Though there is financial fair play more regulations at UEFA and other confederations and in other leagues, but what we have to think is how we can change that as well so that the clubs always have some reserve of certain percentage of their revenue coming in to meet this challenge. Right now, the financial fair play only looks into what is the income and balance it out with the expenditure. Going forward, we have to think how we can put a cap on the whole wage structure, how we can regulate the transfer market, which is again going out of the hand, which was not never sustainable because we were paying too much. The transfer market was kind not realistic, and we have to think how we can put a cap on transfer value itself, and at the same time, how the entire solidarity payment towards training compensation to those small clubs can be changed for better. Because right now, though there are solidarity payment coming in to the small clubs from the player from where the transfer from where the players started getting developed, but that structure itself need to be changed, need to be relooked so that the small clubs continue to get motivated, continue to develop talent, continue to scout talent, continue to engage the community because 99% of our football is amateur, and these small clubs, the lower division leagues, play a bigger role, which most time we ignore. So therefore, how we can put a balance to the entire pyramid, that's very very important. Going forward, we don't know when we will come out of this COVID situation. Whenever we will be through with this situation, we will not be in the same position as before COVID. Every aspect of our life got impacted with this virus, and there will be a new order, and that will remain for some time until unless we find the world find a vaccine and everyone in the world got vaccinated. That is not going to happen in a year's time. It will take long time if this virus continue to play havoc, and that is what is happening. So right now, sports is not the priority for anyone, and rightly so. It can't be because life is the priority. But we again and again seeing the football situation, and it is reflecting that we were never prepared, or we were not rightly structured to meet these kind of challenges. Or, in other words, it was never a sustainable structure what we have put in. So let's work towards improving, and I'm sure there are enough people who are discussing on this uh, aspect, because the FIFA president is, himself has come forward and stated that the world football need to be reformed, and we need to take a back seat and think what way we can do things so that we will be able to meet the challenges what the world will face post COVID or in immediate future. So friends, let's continue to think how we can make football better, because we all have got so much from football, and we have to make sure that we continue to think positively towards football and make a meaningful contribution. We have to protect our players, we have to protect our stakeholders. That's very important. And this 4 billion plus people who are linked with football across the globe, they all should feel proud that football is one sport which continue to lead by example, and football can be seen as forward thinking, proactive, responding to the crisis in a positive manner, in a balanced manner, and we can find solutions because the investment which were coming pre-COVID era to football might not be the same going forward till the world economy comes back to a certain normal situation. We need to think how we can take help from expert economics, uh, those who can help football economics to structure. We need to bring in external resource experts who can help. You would be much better because they will have a very holistic perspective and understanding of the whole global economic scenario and how football economic scenario can be protected, can be improved, and also at the same time how we can engage with the local governments to see that football